Now, I'll kind of talk about a movie that I watched that's always near and dear to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Holly we were flipping through Netflix as we touch weenuses. But
I was staring to the camera while I did this.
we were going through Netflix, and she's like, "I want to watch something funny and something animated." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Let's see what's on." And like we were going through, she's like, "Can we watch this movie?" And I was like, "Are you talking about this one or this one?" She's like, the Lord of the Rings. I was like, "That's not either animated.
Oh,
It has its funny parts." She's like, "Yeah, I wanted to watch it." I was like, "I love you so much."
I thought you were talking about like old school animated Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings, and I was like, no way, it's on Netflix.
No, I wished.
That would be cool.
That'd be
But
amazing.
Weird, but it's cool.
Yeah.
But no, so we started watching Lord of the Rings, and of course it is such a very long movie, and we started at like 9 o'clock.
No, I'm sorry, my
So
friend.
she didn't.
So you
she
guys,
didn't
like,
get
just
to
finished
finish
it, right?
No, she hadn't finished it yet, but we got a good.
You're in the fellowship, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we got a little ways after Frodo
Stabby,
got
stabby,
stabbed,
die.
like by the
Mouse-
troll.
mouse-
Troll. So we were pretty far into it, and like when the movie's starting up, I'm like verbatim quoting the entire movie. She's like, "Are you gonna do this the entire time?" I was like,
I can see her just like, gonna do this all.
I was like, because like we were leaning into it, like watching the movie together, and as soon as she said that, I was like, "No," and I rolled over to the deep dark of Morty. So I was like, I can, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's a good moment. She's wanting to kind of delve deeper into like some of the nerd cinematic
It's good stuff.
pieces, and so
Lord of the Rings is a good
she
place.
didn't really care for the Hobbits, which I understand. Like the story in the Hobbits are good, but some things in the Hobbit movies.
Oh, the Hobbit movies.
Yeah,
those-
I was
those were
confused at
trash.
first. I was like, excuse you, Samwise, the best character.
But
Super bomb.
it's neat. Aw. Why would you bring that up?
Oh, like you said, we were always like,
What a really funny part was, like, she was like, "Oh, Ned Stark." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, yeah. She's like, "Does he die in this one?" I'm like,
No.
I'm like,
One does not simply be Sean Bean and live.
like when it got to the point, because she's never watched these movies, and he goes, "One does not simply go," and she's like, "Is that a meme?" I was like, "Yes, Holly."
that's amazing.
That is that's actually one of the first memes.
Yes, it is.
to come out. And she's like, "It's like history." Like watching, I was like, "This is not history."
I mean, it kind of.
History of the internet.
Yeah,
baby.
internet history.
But like, I was like, it's Sean Bean. I'm like, if he's in a movie or anything or a show, you could possibly expect him to some point not be in the show anymore.
I think the only movie I've ever seen with Sean Bean in it where he hasn't died. I mean, like I know he's done a bunch where he hasn't died, but is the first National Treasure movie.
Yeah.
And he gets arrested, which is essentially like the kid equivalent of dying.
Yeah.
But
Pretty
yeah,
much.
like, I mean, that's been pretty eventful. It's been fun.
So, since we're talking about Lord of the Rings,
So
what's
good.
your favorite Lord of the Rings movie? Like, we include the Hobbit movies as well, but
Nah. I mean, they were good, but I prefer the original Lord of the Rings trilogy.
so out of the three, Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King, which one's your favorite?
Now, I did like the story about how everything started in the Fellowship, but I really enjoyed Two Towers.
Yeah, me
I
too.
loved
They're all really
the
good.
ant battle. Like, when they just...
The ant battle?
The ant-
Like a bunch
That's
of ants?
sad.
Like, oh, you're so cute!
No, the ant battle.
Oh, the ant battle.
That it was so, like... I mean, it's so well done. Like, you see these trees are actually forming like an army, essentially. And because they're
Army of
tired
old
of seeing
dudes.
their brothers and sisters being cut down by
Yeah.
Saruman and the Uruk-hai and the orcs. So you just just see a bunch of trees just coming out, brah, brah,
And then,
Merry and Pippin are like throwing rocks.
Yeah, I was gonna say like at the very end, like they meet up and Mary and Pippin are just like smoking their pipes on like the water wheel or something like that. It was like, hey guys, what's up?
Yeah, so that was a really cool part. But Two Towers is definitely my favorite, but I will give a nod to Return of the King, like seeing Aragorn taking back the mantle as king was really cool.
And also one of the most iconic lines of like, I'm trying to remember what his line is. It's like, no man can kill me, and then I am no man. It's good stuff.
And she's like,
Good stuff. I love that line a lot.
what's yours?
I had to go with Twin Towers.
Twin Towers.
Two Towers, Lord.
Two Towers.
Two Towers, just because of the Battle of the Deep. Like that part is just amazing. Best part of the movie and everything, and it's all practical effects. I know that's one reason why we don't care for the Hobbits as much.
Yeah.
Is because of all the CGI and everything. But Two Towers has all of that practical effects, like all of that huge battle and everything. And of course, like they did put some CGI characters to make the army bigger, but
because that would be too much work.
Yeah, but the main, like what you're actually seeing, like attacking and fighting, is people in costumes and all of that, and they look amazing.
They look
Uruk-hai were done so great, and they were scary, but they weren't CGI.
Well, they had like the white head.
I thought you were telling them like shut up, and I was like, jeez.
I'm like, just tell me that.
Yeah,
like it was so well done. Like I mean, you see the berserker Uruk-hai.
That's what I was about to say. Like that moment where he's like just running and like they're like, shoot him, and like they're like,
I love
it was just Legolas shooting him. Like you have hundreds of archers, but you're only gonna have Legolas shooting, and Legolas is so freaking accurate. Why didn't he just right between the eyes?
I don't think it would have stopped him.
Nope.
He was hopped up on cocaine.
Yep.
Like, it's like, let me shoot him in the shoulder. He's like.
I saw this really funny like meme, I guess someone made of it, where it's like it was old school Mercy when she still had the mass res, and so it's like Mercy has res, shoot her down, and it's like she's like running in with her ult, and then it's like as like whenever the gate blows up, you just hear heroes never die. But yeah. Because I know like the first time I want to know like how you guys first like saw the movies, because the first time I watched it was right before we moved into our house now. My dad and I went there the night before we were bringing all the furniture in, and so it was just like we had a couple sleeping bags and TV, and he was like, Allie, you should watch Lord of the Rings. And so I watched all 3 of them in one night. He fell asleep, I watched them all because I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I was like 10, I think. So yeah, that was my introduction, was just all at once.
With me, I remember it vividly. Two Towers just came out. Me and my brother never watched Fellowship of the Ring, so we were discussing, should we go watch this movie? Like, it was mom and dad, and with my mom even to consider like going to this is a huge thing. But it was like, oh, should we go watch this, or should we go rent the first one and go home and watch it, and then we'll watch Two Towers? So it fell into, we went and got Fellowship of the Ring. We watched it a bunch. This was back in Blockbuster days.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, wow, this is something special. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I think we might have waited until Two Towers actually, because I think the only time I watched a Lord of the Rings was actually Return of the King. And I remember Jessie Johnson, I took her on a date to go watch Return of the King. that was a big moment because I had a huge crush on her. But we went and watched it and everything. It was like December is when it like came out, and like that's how I watched those 3. How about you?
I got Fellowship of the Ring. We rented it from I See Your Blockbuster, and I'll raise you
A movie galley?
A J Video.
Oh!
And because we would, usually on a Friday night.
Yeah.
If me and Hunter and Trevor was really young, but if me and Hunter had done well in school that week, showed up, did our work.
Apparently, y'all misbehaved, so your mom bribed y'all with movies on Friday.
Because I think we were in
Yeah, I think we were 5th or 6th grade, something like that.
I mean, like, my little brother still got the little thick cards that like on a daily basis of how you were, like to make your parents sign off on.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, me is my mom was friends with my teachers, so like she would know if we like acted up.
Yeah.
And of course, we had Miss Barry at the time,
Yeah.
and
So it was either 4th or 5th grade. Actually, she taught us 4th, 5th, and
And
6th.
sixth.
She wouldn't go away. And she kept changing the last name.
it's really funny. I don't know why, but like when I had her, I felt like she hated me. But now when I see her, she just comes up and hugs me and talks to me. I'm like, you
One day
hate
she's
me.
gonna hug you. She's gonna like stab you. She's like, no, just in the back. She's like, I've always hated you, boy. I always hated you.
What grade were you guys in 2001?
We graduated in 2008.
So it would have been like 5th grade. No, wow, I'm way off.
Take 12, take away 7 is what?
It's 5.
Yeah, so 5.
Okay, I was like, I thought about that.
I was
but you
sitting
looked
there,
at
I was
me.
like, that math doesn't seem right.
Like, I thought I was like, maybe I'm not.
If I move my fingers, it looks like I'm doing math.
But me, mom,
Me during the SAT.
me,
Man, that person
mom,
really knows math.
Dad, Hunter, and I think Trevor was there. I can't remember. He would have been. But we were all watching it, of course. Mom and Hunter and Trevor all fell asleep, but like me and Dad, we were focused in on it because it was such a good movie and a very enjoyable movie.
Mm.
Then we had to turn it back the next day to J Video.
Yeah,
Because
you only
had
got
one
one
night.
Yeah, like during like because so like we were watching it, and I can't remember when my dad fell asleep. It was sometime, I think it was either sometime during 2 or like right before 2 started. And I was like trying not to wake him up, but I was like, I gotta keep watching. But 2 Towers is the one with the giant spider, right?
Sheila was.
Yeah.
No, Return
Is
of
it
the King.
Return of the King?
Yeah, Return
Okay,
of the King, yeah.
It's been a while since I've watched.
But if you
this.
played Shadow of War, she's a sexy lady.
Well then.
No, it's like this giant, deadly, like
Oh, she like
spider.
human like spider
yeah,
human lady. Okay.
yeah, like she transforms into a lady. It's just like,
I was like,
bad.
when was this?
when
like-
did she get this power?
Mhm.
And it feels like we're trying to sexualize a spider.
It's yeah. So like I think by the time like I'd finished Return of the King, like the sun was coming up, because again I watched them all in one sitting. But yeah, like because I have terrible arachnophobia, and so whenever that came on, of course it's still pretty dark out, and I'm essentially like alone because my dad's asleep, and I'm like, no.
If you have bad arachnophobia, go watch the movie Arachnophobia.
Yes, I've heard
it's
of it.
about those little tiny spiders that were like super poisonous and like took over the entire town and was like killing people.
Yeah.
I watched that as a kid and it freaked me out.
It's one
I
of
was
those-
so scarred.
Like it's weird because like there was whenever I watched Chamber of Secrets, the Aragog scene, like it didn't bother me, but for some reason, and like in all like movies with spiders and stuff, that spider's the only one that's ever bothered me in a movie.
But
Was Sheila?
Yeah.
Mm.
Every other time I'm like, it's just a movie, it's whatever. But that one I was like,
when y'all watched the Fellowship of the Ring, did y'all just feel like you were there forever and it did not end? Like
Yeah, it was kind of boring.
it's like almost somewhere between like 3 and 4 hour movie, right?
Like it was.
Depends on if you watch director's cut.
I love it. I think it's still a great movie. But yeah, it took a lot of time to get nowhere.
Yeah.
There was just
That's
a
fair.
lot of stuff that could have been, a lot of fat could have been trimmed out of that movie. But I remember watching it, I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then it'd be like 30 minutes. I'm like, okay.
Well, what gets me is it goes back to the Hobbit thing. If they could ride freaking eagles, why can't?
Because
Yeah,
of
no, I was
plot-
just like Shabushki and like
Plot
call the eagles up.
convenience. Gandalf has to be the guy who's like, I'm only here if I want to be here, and I'm only going to help you guys if I want to help you. And they're like, well, don't you want to help us now? And he's just like, no, and I had like a Diet Coke over there. I gotta go. I'll see you guys later. Bye.